relates to specifically crypto, digital assets. And you know, this past year we've seen two of those, AI and Bitcoin, have been exceptionally disruptive in a number of ways. I really want to emphasize that it's 10 years of research in early investing, and would love for you to just start by giving your history, the firm's history with Bitcoin and the research that you did early days.
Okay, just talking a little bit about what it was. And then we were so intrigued, and we had been watching it since 2011, but it was starting to develop some interesting momentum and signaling, I would say. So in 2015, we wrote a white paper, basically, could Bitcoin serve the three roles of money? And we did that in collaboration with Art Laffer. I don't know, Art Laffer, Laffer Curve. So Art, many people know him for Laffer Curve, which is all about fiscal policy and taxes in particular. But he is a monetary scholar as well. In fact, his mentor was Robert Mundell, who won a Nobel Prize for his monetary theories. And and he loves monetary theory, as do I. So we wrote the paper, and I said, would you put your name on this paper? He said, let me read it first. And after he finished reading it, it was like a light bulb went on for him. He said, this is what I've been waiting for 50 years, for almost 50 years, since the US closed the gold window, since we gave up on the gold exchange standard in 1971. And then monetary policy, from his point of view and many points of view, became totally unhinged around the world. So he is so excited about this. He is so excited about private money, going back to what money was pre-Fed. And I know many of you, if you've studied history, you go to pre-Fed, and I asked him this, I said, Art, it was boom bust before we brought the Fed in. He said, yeah, but those booms and busts were over in weeks. What's happening now with monetary policy, trying to keep things controlled, is the booms and the busts are massive, much more massive, and take a lot longer to get over. 08, 09, good case in point. I said, okay, big idea. How big could this idea be? And he said, well, how big is the US monetary base? And back then it was 4.5 trillion, today it's 7.5 trillion. It's a very big idea. Bitcoin has just crossed $1 trillion. I think it's just a little over $1 trillion, $1.4 trillion dollars. Gold is a $14 trillion asset. So we think Bitcoin could be, from a digital gold point of view, could become as big as the digital gold market, and we're assuming it will become at least half that big. So then the next, and I'll end here, but the next year, again, more and more intrigued, and we did gain exposure. We gave our clients exposure to Bitcoin in 2015. It was $250. Now, of course, it's roughly $70,000, and we still think it's just begun. In fact, it's beginning to develop momentum as an insurance policy, not just a hedge against inflation, but a hedge against deflation. And very relevant to what our next white paper was in 2016, we did in collaboration with Coinbase when it was just doing its Series B. And the question, or the title was Bitcoin, ringing the bell for a new asset class. We really do believe digital assets are a new asset class, and I think it's the first truly new asset class since equities in the 1600s. That's how profound this is. So Bitcoin is not only a new asset class, it also, as Art Laffer noted with the first example, is the first global, decentralized, digital private, no government oversight, no throat to choke, rules-based, that from Art Laffer's point of view is the most important, rules-based monetary system in history, a very big idea. And then the third way to portray it is really, this is part of, it is the internet financial system that developers should have put in place with the internet in the early days, in the 80s and 90s, as the internet was evolving. But they didn't know commerce and financial services would ever take place on it. So this is a currency native to the internet. And so, you know, those are three big ideas just focused on Bitcoin. And, you know, the other crypto assets out there we think are part of the financial services revolution and the next generation internet revolution, which is all about digital assets that are immutable, auditable, and really are generating real social status for the young people who spend more than half of their discretionary time online, and where logos to them online are often more important than logos, you know, on clothes.